I'm going to just tell you basically from a very personal point of view how we experienced COVID and how we've sought to sort of overcome that in our own way in our little business in North Wales. And I'll be beginning in January of 2020 when we were all set for what we hoped would be a fantastic year for us. Basically, we'd expanded 2 of our sites, our range of little sauces and condiments on the wholesale side of the business was doing extremely well. And we had, we'd forecast sort of 15% growth. We were all set through these wonderful 3 restaurants of ours to enjoy a fantastic year. And then, you know, it happened 20th of March at 6 p.m. exactly, we were told to close our doors. And, you know, what we thought we had a bulletproof business until that day. And then suddenly we arrived at this point where, you know, we just lost our revenue. A shock to us, like it would have been for everybody else. But with 150 staff and a commitment to them to make no redundancies, our first response was to make sure that we had the financial capability to carry through what would be, you know, a business over a fairly uncertain future. So our first response back in April was to make sure that we had the necessary cash flow to carry through the business. And we got some fantastic help at that point from Business Wales, particularly Richard Fraser-Williams, who came and gave us some really good advice. And we were very quickly able to connect with the Development Bank of Wales and put the finance in place to make sure that our staff were protected and that our business could at least survive a few months of closure. And of course, our own bank, Handelsbanken, came to the rescue as well and provided some necessary funding too. So with the business safe, at least in the short term, we could focus on other things. And the first thing that we wanted to do was use whatever resources we had to help where we could. The business has always been about trying to work with and support community. And obviously, at this time, there was a lot of chaos, a lot of panic, and a lot of challenges getting food to people. Particularly, we saw the need to help our hospitals, and we began a program that grew very quickly to send in daily support with hot meals and packed lunches to the local hospitals around our sites. This was very well received. We very quickly mobilized a response, not just to the hospitals, but we began to make these ready meals to provide support for other areas as well. And we formed a group called Neges with our collaborators, Mentamon, Monlada, and the councils of Anglesey and Gwynedd. The challenge was to provide food and support for those that were struggling to get out, either through shielding or through other issues. And we very quickly mobilized and kind of put together an infrastructure that allowed us to distribute meals and food support boxes. And as you can see from this infographic, I think in the end, yeah, we delivered 30,000 meals into the hospitals over that 2-month period, and sent in food to support 40,000 people who were on the kind of vulnerable and unable to access food themselves. And we're very proud of that collaboration, really, because it just kind of demonstrated what we could do if we all worked together to kind of, you know, resolve some of the kind of logistical challenges that we were facing during the early days of the pandemic. And when we learned a lot, actually, in terms of how we prepare food and how we kind of package food. which became really useful to us later. But once we kind of led on that project, we sort of stepped back a little bit and started to look at what our business could do to respond to this enforced closure period. And then, you know, in May, we set up our first little shop outside the Menai Bridge restaurant. So we brought our bakers back off furlough, and we started making breads and other things to sell outside initially. And this went so well, actually, that we very quickly kind of extended and moved indoors, converting the bar in our Menai Bridge restaurant into a little produce market. Started buying in from other local producers, more and more stock, and created a little hub of activity in the town. And it was very well supported, very much appreciated by people who, I guess, as an alternative to what was a fairly scary experience going into the supermarkets at that time. We could get people to come along, buy some of our bread, some other local produce, and it just gave a sense of normality in a very unusual time. Obviously, with extended closure, more and more people were asking us, would we offer a takeaway service? So in May again, we opened up our restaurants for takeaway, developed a menu that could be easily sort of click and collected, and even home delivered we put in place. And that, you know, was really helpful for us, again, get more of our staff back off furlough and into doing some more meaningful work. And it was very much appreciated, but again, only just a fraction of what we might be doing normally under different circumstances. In July, we were able to open partially outdoors, and that required a certain amount of investment really to upgrade our outdoor spaces. You can see here our Llandudno site has a marquee, and our Menai Bridge and Criccieth sites, we installed parasols, we installed some outdoor heating, we upgraded the outdoor areas to provide, you know, a more comfortable outdoor environment to customers whose only option at that point was an outdoor dining experience. And obviously, the uncertainty of the Welsh weather made it kind of hit and miss, but it was ever so impressive to watch people, you know, weather the sometimes very inclement weather and sit outside. I remember being in Criccieth on one day and a couple eating lobster and a fruit de mer under an umbrella in the pouring rain with 2 bottles of Prosecco on the table. And just, you know, that determination of the Welsh holidaymaker to make a good experience of the most challenging experiences was something to behold. And, you know, it's that spirit, I think, that I'm very proud of. In Menai Bridge, we opened up our the front area of the restaurant for outdoor dining, which again allowed us to operate a bit more successfully. In Criccieth, we extended outdoor seating onto our boardwalk. So here you see one of the sunny days, we managed to get people sitting out there right on the beach, basically enjoying outdoor dining. But we realised that, you know, as we move into August and we open up indoors as well, we're at such reduced capacity, and there are so many customers that we can't accommodate. And with so much uncertainty about the future of restaurant dining and the threat at that point of a second or possibly third lockdown, we started to look elsewhere in our business to try to veer away from this wholly dependent business on bums on seats in our restaurants. We needed to think a little bit more about how we can get revenue from other streams. And we started looking at our menu and trying to find product that we could change, modify to be able to offer as a retail product, really. And our pizza range seemed to be a really good option. So we started work on trying to develop a range of pizzas, the same pizzas on our menu, but find a way to package them as a bake at home product. And by August, we were able to launch this range of pizzas, which has been really, really successful. And we made a quick video to go out on social media to help promote it, which I'll just show you. So we started selling them first in our own little shop, and they were very, very popular. And very quickly, we hired a salesperson. Sarah came on board, and basically we just said, get out there, see who else might want these. And very quickly, we're able to open a couple of dozen accounts locally that would take twice weekly deliveries of our pizzas. And it grew from just making a few dozen for our restaurant, for our little shop in Menai Bridge, to 1,000 a week by sort of late August, September. And they're still going extremely well. We've just actually agreed to start selling to Tesco's, to the Co-op soon. And I think we're anticipating now up to sort of 2,500 pizzas a week we'll be producing by June. And it's made us really rethink the business in a sense, and encouraged us to look more at retail as an option for the business going forward. In November, we got our second lockdown. It was a 3-week lockdown on this occasion, but again, it completely stopped our main revenue stream. So we started to look at other areas of our menu that could be adapted for retail. And we have a range of soups now available in the shops. The same recipes made in exactly the same way as we make them for the restaurant, but we just, designed some really nice packaging. We wanted to emphasise the fact that we make everything in our kitchen in Llangefni in Anglesey. So you can see there's an outline map of the island, and we use the traditional Welsh blanket design, bright and colourful branding that kind of stands out on the shelf. And again, we started marketing them through our own little shop in Menai Bridge first, and then offered them to more and more of our stockists in Northwest Wales. And they've been really successful. And again, each week sales grow and grow, and we're very pleased with them. We opened very briefly again at the end of November, but sadly, on the 4th, we were told to close again. So the third lockdown, and this time, our little shop in Menai Bridge, we decided to invest a little bit more and broaden the range of products that we sell through the shop. So again, our restaurant prep kitchen was repurposed to start making lots more other retail products for the shops. And we moved into savoury pies, pastries, desserts, all kinds of other treats. And we converted the shop again. We developed again the shop, and it's been really, really successful. Actually, we've discovered that people through this have wanted to shop local. We've been able to buy more and more product in from other local producers and create a nice little taste of Wales, if you like, in our Menai Bridge shop. And it's now open 7 days a week. It's doing fantastic business, and it's encouraged us now to look beyond the restaurant. And we signed the lease on this building in January, and we hope to open in April, and it'll be the first Dillon's baked goods and general store. And we hope that, off the back of that, we'll be able to look at opening a few more of those in time. And again, it's a way for us to diversify, to kind of move away, to pivot away from that dependency upon the pure restaurant business, and find other outlets, and we now, at the very last stage of my presentation, looking at another area that we're moving into, and we've looked at our menu again, and we've selected a number of dishes, best-selling dishes from our menu, and been able to convert those again into now a product that you can just pop in the oven and reheat. We're using all the same ingredients, using all the same suppliers, and making these dishes in exactly the same way. We're just adapting them to be able to be packaged and presented for retail. And we're really excited about this, actually, because we've had fantastic feedback from early testing. That's, I think, our macaroni cheese being prepared for sampling, desserts, and wherever we can, we're using our local suppliers. So our Welsh lamb hot pot, we use Dalmina Farm in Llangefni for that. And it's a range of starters, mains, and desserts that have all been very successful in our restaurant menu. This is a really great dish. It's one of our best dishes on the menu is a chicken in a basket, and it's taken us 3 months to develop a really good oven chip, and it's been a fascinating kind of a study of how to make the perfect chip, and it's taken us 3 months. I think it's added about 3 inches to my waistline as we've gone through the process of testing and testing and testing. But we've now actually got an absolutely fantastic, wonderful chip to offer in the range. Chicken wings, crab arancini. These are all the favourite dishes of our menu, and I think at this point it's really important to point out that the fantastic support that we've had from the Food Tech Centre in Llangefni. All our product testing has gone through them. They've offered loads and loads of advice. They've given us fantastic support, so much so now that we've actually got a food consultant working with us 2 days a week, and a full-time food technician is joining the company in April that's partly sponsored through a programme with the Food Tech Centre. And having that resource right on our doorstep has made it possible to do all this development in a really short space of time. We've also been able to tap into some funding. Smart Cymru, we were successful in getting some funding from them to help us upgrade and develop our prep kitchen in Llangefni, to be able to produce food safely for retail. And of course the ERF2 grant that enabled us to invest in our sites and develop those outside areas more to be an option for people coming back from lockdown. So without all that support, I don't think we'd have been able to make the changes that we have. But in a year that has been the most challenging of years, we look forward to 2021 now and think, there are great options for us going forward. The pandemic has really made us question how safe our business was. And for 8 months of the last 12, our main revenue stream has just been stopped. The support that we've had has been really helpful. And I think, it's fair to say that we hope to come out of this pandemic in a stronger position than when we went in. We've managed to develop alternative areas of the business. We've moved into retail, and we have a really successful retail model now, and we've transformed areas of our menu into wholesale products that we hope we'll be able to market throughout Wales and possibly beyond in the coming months. So, it's been a tough year. Like all hospitality businesses, we've really had to question how we go about things in the future. But I think we've made some good decisions, and I'm quite looking forward to what's going to happen over the next 12 months. We want to get our restaurants open, but we also want to develop these other areas. That's been our experience of 2021. That's the end of my presentation.